Good morning, children. How are you all? Are you happy with the online class? Okay. Do you study regularly? Hope that you all got the textbook. Anybody is remaining to get the book? Okay, very good. Shall we go to our class? Today, let us study about the classification of plants. Before learning about the classification of plants, I would like to say something. We already completed the first chapter. I have given you some questions. I think you all have completed the question answers. And there are so many questions given in the review exercise of the first chapter. All of you please complete that and study well. Next class I will give you a class test. Okay, shall we go to the topic? Classification of plants. That is the second chapter in your biology textbook. Classification. What do you mean by classification? Classify the things. Why do we classify the things? Just think that there are so many things around us. You learned in the lower classes, all the things around us can be classified into two groups. Living and non-living things. What do you mean by classification? We classify the things, putting together the things which are similar in one group. Okay, arrange the things on the basis of their similarities and differences. Let us take an example. You have a collection of coins with you, or we can say you have a lot of coin with you. You want to count all the coins and you want to know how much it would be. How will you count all these? Before counting, what will you do? You arrange them. All the 1 rupee coin in one set, 2 rupees coin in another set, isn't it? And like that you arrange the different types of coins in different set. And finally you count it. Isn't it? Like that there are different types of things around us. It is very difficult to study all the things around us together. So, all the things around us can be classified into living and non-living. Okay, that we can leave. Then about the living things. You know, biology is the study of living things. So, to learn about biology or to study about these living things, it is not so easy to study all the living things together. So, what shall we do? We have to arrange the things in different groups. So, all the living things around us can be divided into two groups mainly, plants and animals. So, before going to the classification, you have to know what is the meaning of classification. Classification. What do you mean by classification? Classification means grouping things in different groups on the basis of similarities and differences. On the basis of similarities and dissimilarities. Or we can say on the basis of similarities and differences, we classify the things into two groups. We arrange the things into many groups. That is called classification. Grouping things in different groups on the basis of similarities and differences. What is the meaning of classification in biology? Classification of organisms. Here we can say living things or organisms in different groups on the basis of their similarities and differences. Okay, then why do we classify the things? What are the advantages of classification? The advantages of classification. It makes the study systematic. We can learn about the things systematically One group having these characteristics, another group having some other characteristics. Like that we can classify, we can learn systematically. It makes the study systematic. Okay. Then the second advantage of classification is it helps in identifying the different organisms and placing them in particular groups. If we are classifying the things, we are trying to arrange an organism in a particular group. That means it helps in identifying the different organisms and placing them in different groups. That is the second advantage. Then the third advantage is it gives an idea about the evolution. Evolution. What do you mean by the term evolution? It gives an idea about the evolution of organisms from simple to complex. Simple to complex. Before that, you have to know the meaning of evolution. The meaning of evolution in Malayalam is parinamam, maatangal. That means you all learned that we all evolved from a forefather, that is the monkeys. Human beings are evolved from monkeys. Like that, all living organisms have a evolution. After many changes, we got this shape. So that is called evolution. More about evolution you will learn in higher classes. You might have studied about the early men. They were walking in four legs. Early men means many years ago. So like that, evolution. So changes due to climatic condition or some other for the survival. So that is called evolution. So it gives an idea about the evolution of organisms from simple to complex. Okay, so that are the classification and the advantages of classification. Next, let us study about the classification of plants. How the living organisms in the world classified. Classification of living world. This is the classification of the living world. Originally, all living organisms can be classified into two kingdoms, that is plant kingdom and animal kingdom. All plants together and all the animals together. This classification is done by Carl Linnaeus. So all living organisms around us can be classified into two kingdoms. They are the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. But this classification is had a lot of drawbacks. For example, bacteria. You know, bacteria is a unicellular organism. Actually, bacteria is included in the kingdom plants, plantae or plants. But bacteria does not possess any characteristic of plants. It has no cell wall made up of cellulose. It has only few bacteria are having chlorophyll. So then how can we classify, how can we include bacteria in the kingdom plantae or plant kingdom? That is one thing. Then another unicellular organism, that is Euglena. Euglena is included in the kingdom animals. But Euglena is having chlorophyll. It can prepare the food. Then how can we include Euglena in the animal kingdom? So there are many drawbacks for this two kingdom classification. That means living organisms into two kingdom, plantae and animalia, or animals and plants, and plant kingdom and animal kingdom. That has many drawbacks. Then after that, in 1969, another scientist, Robert Whittaker, classified all the living organisms into 5 kingdoms. 5 kingdom classification. That is known as 5 kingdom classification. All the living organisms in this world can be classified into 5 kingdoms. Let us see what are the 5 kingdoms. They are, first one, Kingdom Monera. Second one, Kingdom Protista. Third one, Kingdom Fungi. Fourth one, Kingdom Plantae. And the fifth kingdom is Kingdom Animalia. Animalia. So these are the 5 kingdoms. Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. Let us study one by one. The characteristic of each one. The first kingdom is Monera. According to Robert Whittaker, the 5 kingdom classification, the first kingdom Monera. Monera. In that, what are the characteristics of organisms come under this group? The organisms have, all the organisms in this kingdom are microscopic. What do you mean by microscopic? The organisms which can be seen only with the help of microscope. So they are microscopic. Tiny organisms can be seen only with the help of microscope. Then the second characteristic is unicellular. What do you mean by unicellular? Last year you learned about the cell, unicellular, about the organism, unicellular and multicellular. What do you mean by unicellular? The organisms which have only a single cell in their body. Single-celled organisms are called unicellular. So, organisms which come under this group, Kingdom Monera, are microscopic, unicellular organisms with a cell wall. They have a definite cell wall. So, 3 characteristics: microscopic, unicellular and cell wall. But the most important characteristic of Kingdom Monera is they have no definite nucleus. In all the cells, almost all the cells, there will be nucleus. But here in these organisms, they have no definite nucleus. Or we can say their nucleus having no nuclear membrane. Then what happened to the other materials in the nucleus? That is the genetic material in the nucleus. They are simply found in the cytoplasm of the cell. So, the organisms come under this group are microscopic, unicellular, with a cell wall but have no definite nucleus. Okay? Example, bacteria. Bacteria belong to Kingdom Monera. So, in each case you have to learn the characteristic and 1 or 2 examples. That is about Kingdom Monera. Then the second kingdom. What is that? Kingdom Protista. Second one, Kingdom Protista. Protista. Then when you go to the higher class, there will be more classifications. I think latest classification, Kingdom Monera, is again divided into 2 or 3 groups. That about that you will learn in higher classes. So the second kingdom is Kingdom Protista. Very easy to understand. They are also microscopic organisms, unicellular, without cell wall. They have no cell wall. Try to understand. You microscopic, unicellular organisms without cell wall and with a definite nucleus. They have a definite nucleus. Unicellular organisms with a definite nucleus. They belong to the kingdom Protista. So kingdom Monera and Protista. Very easy to understand it. Microscopic unicellular organisms with a cell wall but no nucleus. Here the microscopic unicellular organisms without a cell wall but have a definite nucleus. Here without a cell wall, no cell wall. Animal cells, like animal cells, and they have a definite nucleus. That is the characteristic of kingdom Protista. Example of kingdom Protista are Paramecium, Chlamydomonas, Euglena, etc. They include single-celled organisms with well-developed nucleus. The most important characteristic of that is well-developed nucleus. Here without nucleus. Nucleus means nuclear material, genetic material is there, but they are not bounded by a nuclear membrane. In kingdom Protista, inside the cell there is a nuclear membrane, well-defined nucleus. So the most important characteristic is they are microscopic unicellular with a well-defined nucleus. That is the most important point. Well-defined nucleus. Example, Paramecium, amoeba, Euglena, etc. etc. So many examples are given in the book. You just go through that. Then the next kingdom. These are the two kingdom Monera and kingdom Protista. Next is the kingdom Fungi. Third kingdom Fungi. From the name itself, it is understood that all the non-green plants without chlorophyll. Till now we were discussing about the unicellular organisms. Then the multicellular organisms with many cells in their body. So they in that the simple one, multicellular, among the multicellular organisms, the simplest one, that is the organisms with many cells but have no chlorophyll. So the most important characteristic of kingdom Fungi are they are multicellular. First characteristic is multicellular. Second point is they have no chlorophyll. No chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is absent. So what will happen if there is no chlorophyll? They cannot prepare the food. They are heterotrophs. They depend on other organisms for their food. So multicellular organisms without chlorophyll. Example, fungi. Fungus. What are the different types of fungi? Can you name? Yeast is a fungus. Mushroom is a fungus. Mold is a fungus. Do you know what are these? What do you mean by mold? Poopal. That is fungus. The next one, yeast. You might have seen that. You are familiar with that yeast, which some people use it for making the very soft dishes. And the next one, mushroom. That you all know what is mushroom. So they are non-green. They have no chlorophyll. They cannot prepare their own food. They depend on other organisms. Okay. So the kingdom Fungi. The next two kingdoms are actually the kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Then the fourth one is kingdom Plantae. kingdom plantae. That means all the plants around us, they are multicellular organisms. They have chlorophyll, so they can prepare their own food. So all the plants around us can put together in the kingdom plantae. The next one is the kingdom Animalia. Animalia or kingdom Animalae. It is also known as kingdom Animalae. Animalia. That means all the animals together in this group. So these are the 5 kingdoms. They are multicellular organisms but cannot prepare the food. No chlorophyll. Okay, these are the 5 kingdom classification. So you have to draw in the textbook. The 5 kingdom classification is given very clearly. You can see it in the textbook. So this classification, 5 kingdom classification, this classification you have to draw in your notebook and write each kingdom one by one and write any 3 characteristic of each kingdom. 3 characteristic, like this characteristic. So that's all about the 5 kingdom classification. Next you want to study about the classification of plants that we can study in the next class. So all of you do the homework, draw the classification in your notebook and read the textbook well. Okay? Thank you.